Okay, so how we gonna make the butter? Now, I got about like a quart and a cup of cream from the milk I separated it from. So we're gonna pour it in here, and then we're just gonna mix it. And this is really thick cream. So it's like, you can just see, that's foam that just stayed there. So it's gonna be really thick, cream separator, and that will make it a lot thicker. And that makes it easier to make butter with. If it's too thin, it won't whip well enough, and it might just turn into whipped cream. So that's a quart. So we're probably gonna get close to 4, maybe 4.5 sticks. We'll see. And then I'm going to pour this little one right here. And after I finish scooping all this out, then we will mix it. This is a stand mixer, so I don't have to be holding a hand mixing thing to it. The stand mixers are really, honestly, the best thing you can pick for doing it. Some people will do the little jar thing where you can mix it with a jar, or you can shake the jar, but that's a lot of arm strength you gotta have to do that. Put it on until it clicks so that it's in securely. Put this in, right? That's good, and then we put on the top one because it's gonna splash a little bit. And most of the time this goes pretty fast, in about like a couple, maybe like 30 seconds to a minute. It's almost basically finished because of how thick the cream is. I'm gonna have it at number 3, so it's gonna be the highest it can be. It's going to turn into whipped cream, and then it's going to turn to butter. We're going to go. I'm going to real quick put some of this on the side of it. That went really quickly too. It only took about a minute. There's a little bit of whipped cream on the side of this, so I'm going to push that down and then mix it a little more, and then we'll have butter. That's why it's important to have super thick cream, because that will make it go so much faster. But you can definitely make butter with goat's milk. Some people thought you couldn't because you have to do the process of separating it, but it's definitely possible. You just have to have it on a thicker mode. The top one, I'll mix it for a couple seconds, and it should be done. There we go. It is done. You can see the buttermilk at the top and stuff. That only took like a minute. It goes super fast when it's thick. So I'm going to scoop this out of the way and get a bowl so that I can pour the buttermilk into it. This is just a handmade pottery bowl I'm going to use. And pour it in, and then we will squeeze the rest of the milk out, or the buttermilk out, by using some cool water. But I just want to get all this first. I'm actually going to real quick wash my hands. I might just use my hands for this. I want to use cold water though so my hands don't melt too fast. I'm just going to do this real quick. Scoop that off. Alright. And it should not be melting like crazy fast in your hands, because if it's too whipped-like, and it's more like really, really heavy, ooh, that's actually too small of a bowl. Alright, let me get a little more. That's filled a little bit. but it's alright because it's not baking and it doesn't count unless you make a mess. So, it's only when it's fair. I'm actually going to squish a little bit more out. Every bit of buttermilk counts. The more you get, the more pancakes you get to make. And that means the more happy you're going to be. That's how it works. Alright, that's a lot of buttermilk. So that should be good. There's always a little more. Alright, now we are going to wash it. I'm going to put it into a different bowl though, because it's a little hard to navigate the whole thing in this circular thing. So I'm going to scoop it up. I actually have it right here so you can see it. That's a good bit of butter though. I'm proud of my Nigerian dwarf does. Butter is actually like a really fun process. I really enjoy it because you get to kind of just relax and wash it in cold water. You get it's a very enjoyable process, especially when you get the hang of it and you get used to doing it a lot. It gets really fun. I'm going to put every bit of butter. I want to get as much as I can. Some people have butter like wheels, like they're like wooden ones that you can like roll it over and it helps get more of the buttermilk out, which is nice. The reason most of the time people will wash it with water is because that helps get the buttermilk in the easiest way, and it also makes it because butter should not be mixing into the water because it's more of an oily, it has a different thing, it can't really mix, and so that means that it's easier to wash it out faster because the buttermilk will go out with the water, but the butter will stay in the bowl. It keeps spilling everywhere. Alright, now it's time to wash this. I tried to have one side of the sink completely empty just to make it easier to do this. I have it on the coldest settings possible. I'm just going to have it really slow. And I'm just going to go ahead and put some in here. And what you're going to start doing is you're just going to keep squishing it. And what your goal is you want the water to start to run clear. When the water is basically fully clear, it doesn't have any more of the opaque color from the buttermilk, then that's how you know that you're done washing the buttermilk out. I don't really count how long it takes. I just kind of do it until the water's clear. Sometimes people say it takes a couple washes. It doesn't really matter as long as you're getting all the buttermilk out. I'll wash it one more time and it should be pretty much good. Because I don't see really any more water, any more buttermilk coming out of it. Alright. Now we're done with that, I'm just going to squeeze a little more out. I'm sure other people have other ways of how they like to do this. I don't really know how, I don't really know how else you can really get the water out except by doing it this way. I'm sure you could probably use like a cloth or something to help squeeze some of it out. I don't know. But what I do is I will get a ice pack out there, make sure it's nice and cold, and I will put some paper towels on it. This does use a lot of paper towels, so if you're not afraid of wasting paper towels, then this will work. And what I will do, I try to touch it as little as possible because my hands will melt in butter if I hold my hands on for too long. So what I will do is I will put, so I like to kind of do individual scoops so it's easier to get the most out of it. Stop it then. Thank you. So then I will just kind of squish it out here. and then we will just tap it out. If your butter is too melted, it will start to stick. Mine's kind of sticking a little bit. And I will get a new bowl. Other than this one, because this one's bigger. And I will start to scoop it like that. This is just the easiest way I have found that I can get the water out, and it works pretty well. Oh my gosh, this is super buttery. But the nice thing about having an ice pack underneath is that it keeps it cooler longer, and so you really don't have to worry about losing too much butter off of the paper towel. Using a spatula, by the way, is much easier because it means that you don't have to worry about like a spoon not getting it off as easily. After I do that, I will switch the paper towel with something else because now that one can't really take in as much water now. Just kind of smooth it off as if you're trying to ice a cake. It doesn't need to be too thin, it just needs to be enough so that you can get as much water out as possible. That will help get it off the top of it. And then we will scoop it. This part's actually really satisfying, I've noticed. It's kind of fun to do this. Scoop. And after I finish this whole process of getting the water out, then I will put salt in it. I don't like to put salt in it before though, because then it will be kind of like watery-ish, and that's not really what you want. So, next paper towel. This does use a bunch of paper towels, but it means that you got nice butter. Especially if it's a lot of butter, then it's really worth it in my opinion. I might do this a second time just to really ensure all of it gets out. It also just makes it more solidified, so it's a little easier to store it. And then whenever I need to use it for baking, or whenever I want to have some on my bread, I will just take it out and then put it in my little butter mold I have over there. Or butter, what is it called? Butter crock, I think is what it's called. Very nice. Just going to do this side real quick because this is a smaller piece of butter, which is nice. I like to have it like folded like this because it takes in a lot more of the butter. Sorry, I was not getting as good of a view on this. That's much better though. So now I will just scoop it out. And right here actually you can see all the additional butter or water that was in there. That's why it's really important to squeeze this all out. I'm just going to scoop all of this out. And then I'll just put the rest of the water in the sink. It's not. Oh my goodness, this thing's being loud. Okay. Oops. Okay, and I'm going to just do it one more time. for the last bits that I had here because I want to make sure that those really got good. I can now do it on a much thinner roll now because I got a lot of the butter, water out of it already. Right, we're just going to dump all of it on now since I got all of it pretty individually out. And this is really not wasting any of the butter because I'm scooping all of it off of the paper towel anyway. So this really is the best way, with at least doing it paper towel way. This works the best. Now, wipe out this bowl just so I don't have any extra fluid, which you can't like see any water in there now. That's what the other bowl, this bowl looks like. I'm just going to scoop it out, all the additional stuff. And then we're going to put it all in this bowl and then put it in the molds. Excited. I really hope this makes a good bit of sticks. But we will see. This was 2 gallons of, well, I separated cream from 2 gallons of milk, and I got a quart and about a cup of cream. I've been using the whole time. And the nice thing about these is that they have the little dashes in between, and so that means that you can tell how much is like a tablespoon for it, which is like increasingly helpful, especially when you are trying to bake with it. So this is the test to see how many sticks we got. And the way I like to do this is I like to have it in the corners first, because that really helps get the whole thing. And I kind of go ahead and just smooth it in and add more until we get a nice full amount. That's really satisfying because I get to smooth the butter over. Go in there. Do that. And what's on the top because it'll be a whole stick. Those are nice sticks of butter. We got 3 full sticks and one that's a little bit not necessarily a stick, but it's more than half a stick, so I'll take it. And I'm gonna put these in the freezer. And then also we have the buttermilk, which I'm going to use a funnel to pour it into just so I don't spill as much as I often do. And then I spilled some more. It's alright. Because it's okay to spill. Some parchment paper or wax paper. I don't know if I have any parchment, so we'll see. And yeah, then we'll be done and it'll be nice. So I have some wax paper, and I'm just going to use that to wrap this up. Use some scissors to cut it. Look at the size. It's probably about 2 inches longer, and then 2 inches wider than the butter. It's nice and solid. I'm going to open this up. And that's what the butter looks like. There's a couple little holes in it, but it looks nice. So you can tell how much is like, depending on how much you need. It's nice. And that's everything. So that took probably about 30 minutes, well, probably about 20 minutes to do the whole butter making process. And then I had to wait a little bit for it to, you know, stay in the freezer so I could take them out of the molds. But yeah, it's a really simple process. Yeah, it's really not that hard at all. Not as hard as everybody thinks it is. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.